Something pretty big is happening in software development right now. And if you have been coding lately, you have probably already felt it. AI isn't just helping us write code anymore. That was phase one. Now it's slowly moving into something much bigger. We're talking about AI that can actually execute tasks, automate workflows, interact with real systems, and basically behave more like a digital employee than just a coding assistant. Think about it for a second. Instead of asking an AI how to deploy something, you can ask it to deploy your application, monitor the logs, notify you if something breaks, and maybe even fix small issues automatically. That's exactly the promise behind tools like OpenClaw. But, and this is very important, this shift also comes with responsibility. These AI agents can burn through API tokens surprisingly fast. They may have access to sensitive infrastructure, and if you're not careful, you might give an AI far more control than you originally intended. And once that happens, trust in your setup becomes absolutely critical. So yes, it's powerful, but it's definitely something you want to approach thoughtfully. So where does something like OpenClaw actually make sense? That's the real question, and one obvious use case is automation. Things like deployments, environment setup, log monitoring, or even simple maintenance tasks can often be handled by an AI agent. That alone can save a lot of repetitive work. Another interesting area is developer assistance beyond coding. Instead of just generating code snippets, the AI can help orchestrate workflows, installing dependencies, configuring services, or connecting different tools together. And then there's experimentation. If you're exploring AI-driven automation, building prototypes, or testing how far these agents can go, a tool like OpenClaw becomes a really flexible playground. It's not about replacing developers. It's more about offloading the boring stuff so you can focus on creative and complex parts. Now, here's where things get serious for a moment. Running OpenClaw locally sounds great. More privacy, more control, no constant cloud dependency. But it also introduces some real security considerations. First, access permissions. If an AI agent can run commands on your machine, browse files, or access APIs, you're essentially giving it operational power. And that means misconfigurations can have real consequences. Second, data exposure. Even when running locally, you might still connect external services, APIs, or cloud models. Sensitive tokens, credentials, or internal data can accidentally leak if things aren't configured carefully. And third, automation risk. Automation is amazing until something goes wrong automatically. A misinterpreted command or buggy script could potentially cause damage faster than you can intervene. So running locally isn't inherently safer. It just shifts where the responsibility sits. And that responsibility is now mostly yours. Let me be honest. This setup wasn't completely smooth for me either. One challenge was hardware limitations. Local models can be demanding, and even with decent hardware, performance sometimes isn't where you want it to be. That can affect reliability and patience. Another issue was configuration complexity. There are a lot of moving parts, models, permissions, integrations, networking, and some small misconfigurations can cause frustrating problems that take time to debug. And then there is trust. Deciding how much access to give the AI wasn't always straightforward. Too little access limits usefulness, but too much can feel risky. It's definitely a balancing act. After setting everything up, I had a surprisingly simple problem. I wasn't sure what I actually wanted the agent to do. Many examples online focus on flashy demos like flight booking, dashboard generation, or automated research. But honestly, I already use specialized tools for research. Flight comparison sites already exist, and I don't feel comfortable giving an AI access to financial data or personal accounts. So the everyday practical use cases felt more limited than expected. That doesn't mean they don't exist, but they are not always as compelling as the hype suggests. So if you're thinking about trying OpenClaw or similar AI agents, here are a few things I'd honestly recommend, especially if you're newer to this space. First, focus on fundamentals. It's incredibly tempting to let AI do everything for you. And yes, it can generate boilerplates, startup projects, configs, and even whole workflows in seconds. And yeah, that's great. Use it. But don't stop there. Try to understand what's actually happening underneath. For example, if you're building web projects, really learn how websites work, how requests flow from browser to server, how databases connect, how authentication works, how deployment actually happens. Because the moment something breaks, and it will, you'll need foundational knowledge to fix it. AI can help debug, but it can't replace your understanding. Therefore, I've created a beginner-friendly tutorial that walks you step by step through building a modern website using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The goal isn't to produce a website, it's to help you understand the fundamentals so you actually know how websites work underneath the surface. I will link it if you want to check it out. This is especially important in the age of AI. While AI tools and agents can generate code quickly, they don't replace understanding. Knowing the basics lets you evaluate AI output, fix problems, customize results, and avoid becoming dependent on tools you don't fully control. When you understand the foundations, AI becomes a powerful assistant rather than something you have to rely on. And that's what truly makes you effective as a developer. And that leads to another big important point. Don't just copy AI output. Interpret it. Look at the code it generates. Ask yourself, why is it structured this way? What would happen if this part fails? How would I improve this? Is this secure? Is it efficient? That mindset turns AI from a crutch into a multiplier for your skills. Another big one. Start small. It's very tempting to give an AI agent broad permissions right away. Full disk access, API keys, deployment rights, especially when you want to see impressive automation quickly. But that can backfire. Instead, test controlled workflows first. Let it handle something simple. A dev environment setup, log monitoring, maybe documentation tasks. Observe how it behaves before scaling up access. You want confidence before you hand over responsibility. Also, really understand what you are connecting. When you plug an AI agent into APIs, file systems, CI/CD pipes, or cloud infrastructure, you're not just testing a tool, you're extending trust. Know exactly what permissions you're granting, what data it can access, what actions it can trigger, and how you can revoke access if needed. That's basic operational hygiene, AI or not. Another practical tip, keep an eye on costs. Cloud-based models especially can burn through tokens faster than expected. Automation loops, retries, or debugging sessions can quickly consume credits in the background. It's not dramatic at first, but it can add up over time. So build awareness early. And maybe the most important mindset shift. Treat this as a learning process. AI agents are still evolving fast. Best practices are still forming. Even experienced developers are experimenting and adjusting. Nobody has everything perfectly figured out right now. So stay curious, stay cautious, but also stay willing to experiment. That combination, curiosity, awareness, and hands-on testing, is what will actually help you grow in this new AI-assisted development world. And honestly, despite the challenges, it's a really exciting space to explore right now.